Yo, 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 this your boy Larry, and I'm chilling and vibing with singer Katrina Bree. How you doing?
I'm chilling and vibing, man. I'm
Yeah, I
good. How are
appreciate you for
you?
coming on. I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling and vibing. I appreciate you for coming on the platform, though.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, this is awesome.
Oh yeah. So, Katrina, tell me, where it started. You singing?
I can't really remember a time that I wasn't. Um, I'm from California, from LA. I'm currently in Vegas, so that's what I like to rep because in Vegas, that's what really, helped my career kind of explode a little bit. And you know, you- it, uh, I think you just kind of know. And I also think that a lot of it is just God given talent, and then a lot of it is honing your craft. And there's a lot more that goes into being you know a really good vocalist or a really good lyricist. There's a lot of like behind the scenes work that a lot of people don't understand, if they're not singers, if they're not as far as like the music industry. But I feel like it's been an evolution since I was like 5. I know that sounds funny, but until now, just singing, perfecting all these riffs, kind of like really listening. All I would do is listen to music. You couldn't take like any free time I had. So, it kind of started there. I have a really deep love for music. I feel like it's very healing. I feel like it's a language. It's a way to express yourself, different than even just like having a conversation. You know what I mean? So even though you're saying words, it's like you're really like, I like to deliver that believable emotion. And so that's what I try to do in my original as well.
Oh yeah, music is real therapeutic. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I listen to music. Actually, I make music also. Well, I did.
Uh-huh.
Once upon a time, about eight
Yeah.
years ago, before my daughter came, once she came, it just daddy mode.
Yeah. It's important though.
Oh
Doing that
yeah.
dad stuff is important. Yep. You'll get back to it.
I, I'm chilling and vibing now. I don't know. So
Yeah.
like
This
being
is a
being a
collaborative.
singer. Oh yeah, being a singer, like I know like, singing them high pitches, like what do you do, to keep your voice where it's at, because sometimes being a singer, have your pitch go so high and it come down, like you lose your voice. Like, what do you do, to keep your voice how it is, so you won't lose it?
Yeah. Well, there's like a lot you can do for vocal health. I remember I was telling you earlier before we started that I'm the house singer for the Aviators, the baseball team out here. And I never had any type of vocal coaching. So my voice tends to be a little more raspy. But I can hit very high notes. So when people know that, they're like, "Hey, can we put a request? Let's like, can you sing this?" And I'm like, "I can." But you learn over time. In the 2.5 years I've been gigging out here, and actually that's all I do besides recording my original stuff in the studio and writing and doing all these sessions. But there's a lot you can do. Just taking care of your voice, getting rest. That's a big thing that I had to learn. Because you're out late singing until sometimes midnight, and then a lot of a lot that goes down in the music scene out here. It's a very tight circle. There's a lot of musicians that we all kind of know each other through somebody else. And so it's also a thing where you network. You go out after, you go to different people's shows, and like you do all that. And so it can get tiring. And I didn't realize how important sleep was. But there's other things too, like humidifier. I'm out in Vegas, so it's dry. I don't live in a place where it's very humid, so you're getting all that just by being outside, or all that kind of stuff. But there's like saline inhalers. There's also like straw work. This is like very technical stuff. But I remember I just recently got my first vocal coach from a really amazing vocal coach out here, Lisa Marie. And the guy that referred me to her is the house singer for the Knights national anthem. His name is CJ. So when I knew I had to do the national anthem for the first time, even though I'm a professional singer, I was like, let me get some lessons. And it really helped, because she's like, if this is how good you sound and you've never had any lessons, I'm like, no. But all that kind of stuff helps with the breath work, like that saves your voice. If you're singing improperly, but you're still a great singer, it's still taxing on your voice. And that's how I was. Like I could deliver that to you, wouldn't know, but now I have techniques to help support all that. those high pitch or even the lower stuff, running out of breath and like trying to compensate in the moment. All that can do damage to your vocal cords. But there's like teas, there's all kinds of stuff. There's like, you learn through different singers like what helps them. Cause sometimes you do have a raspy voice and you can't just not show up. And the thing I always tell like a lot of musicians I work with that are like guitarists or bass players, like if that were me, I'd be doing like 3 gigs a night, right? Because it's tiring the same, but my instrument is here, it's my body, so it's a little bit different. You got to take care of your physical a lot.
Yeah. So growing up, what singer, you looked up to? You like, I want to sing like her.
Oh, there's so many. But I grew up in the 90s, right? So and in California and LA. So like one of the pop people that were very like in the Britney Spears era and the NSYNC era, I thought Christina Aguilera was like because she's a true vocalist. Um, but I also have a lot of soul, and I have a lot of like R&B influence in my voice. I thought it was funny that my vocal coach told me like, when you sing the anthem, it kind of sounds like a little R&B ish, but I never anticipated that. So that's like a natural thing, and I try to like enhance that, right? Because that's what I naturally give anyway. But like Lauren Hill was always a huge. I mean, Lauren Hill to me is, you know, she's just crazy, and the way she could write and the way her tone and yeah, Christina Aguilera for sure. I mean, of course, you had your Mariah Carey and like those are who you aim to be, but you can never sound like these great vocalists because they had their own style and you shouldn't want to, right? Like you should want to take a little from her, a little from this person, a little from that. But I also like a lot of, me and my dad were really into music, so I had a lot of influences, like a lot of older music. But yeah, I'd say that. I'd say anybody that was a true vocalist, back then that was doing good music and actually had that power behind their voice, Whitney Houston, all those. I mean, that's who you aspire to be in your own right. So yeah, those are some of them. But it's so hard to pick like who's your favorite because you take a little inspiration from everyone.
Which artist you would like to work with?
Oh man. And I also forgot to say I was super big into hip hop, like Jay-Z, like his old school stuff. That was like a big influence. Like I love all the East Coast rappers a lot. Of course, I'm from the West Coast, so I even debated wearing my Yankees. I always wear a Yankees cap, and everybody's like, out here, take that off because everybody's very big into sports, and I'm like, no, I just wear this because that's what all the East Coast rappers wore when I was young. But I love the Yankees, but so yeah, an artist I would like to work with. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of this chick. Her name's Snow Allegra. She's from Sweden, I believe, but she just has like so much soul and like I love the way that she sings. I actually really like Ariana Grande too. I like some of her older stuff, just like the way that she in the studio does all her harmonies and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to be around that. But like Lauren Hill, of course. Um, yeah, there's a lot. There's a few. But yeah, those are just some of them. Can I
So
say Can I say Kendrick Lamar, even though he's a,
yeah,
even though
yeah,
I
any
was off on a
artist,
track
man.
with Kendrick?
Yeah, any artist, Yeah, Kendrick though too. I know out there, I know he's like, oh man,
K Dot, yeah,
yeah.
for
So what
sure.
about Drake, man? What about Drake? Drake?
Oh no, you never know. What if I blew up and this comes back to haunt me? I mean, we love Drake, right? Drake's a vibe, but I just think that Kendrick speaks a lot of truth, and he's from Compton, and I remember seeing, growing up in LA, I've met a lot of these celebrities once or twice, or like, because my girl was she still is a like a hairstylist and makeup artist for a lot of celebs, so we became friends with a lot of people. But I just think Kendrick Lamar really, really talks about the culture. Um, of hip hop, and I remember seeing him do a rap battle just like in the street right before he even blew up. I mean, at this point he was kind of known, but like I saw him here in Vegas last year, and for I think it was the High Steppers tour or something. I don't remember which one, but I'm just like, dang, that's crazy, going from there to here. And I feel like he just brings a lot of truth. And I think Drake is great for the partying, all this and that, but I really believe in artists bringing other artists up, and I feel like Kendrick is somebody who just has like wisdom. He's like an old soul, and I feel like when he speaks, you know, he really puts thought, but he has that natural gift of delivering the message, you know. So, you know, you go to different artists for different vibes. You know, if you're feeling sad, sometimes you go for that. If you're feeling like, oh, I'm just out here trying to party, you know, in the club with my friends, then you want that, right? Like there's, and then if you're in your feels and you're, you know, you're like, let me listen to some of this old school stuff that I like used to make me feel away or reminds me of something, you know? So, but I mean, going back to like one of my favorite artists or inspiration, definitely be like an Amy Winehouse, even, or like Aretha or Etta James, because a lot of my stuff is like bluesy soul. Shaka Khan, like these are all women that I admire, and just artists that were, you know, amazing. And so, yeah.
So, what was that feeling like, your first big performance? Was you nervous, excited, all of the above?
I mean, I think you should always feel kind of nervous, right? I mean, those butterflies are what makes it great. And if you listen to a lot of big artists nowadays, they still have that. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it depends on what you're doing. Like, if I'm kind of being watched to see if I am gonna get booked for something bigger, yeah, I'm gonna be a little nervous. But nowadays, I just feel like I try to go up there. I already know I can deliver. I already know, like, you know, as far as where I live, I'm one of the best vocalists as far as delivering believable emotion. It's not about just standing up there and singing, right? So you're not always trying to like show off. But definitely if I got a lot of hard songs or my like other musicians that I work with are in the crowd or you know, yeah, all those things can make you feel nervous. I mean, I still feel it. You know, cuz you never know. Everybody's different. Every time they come and see you, there's a different audience. So you never, you know, really you always want to like do the best you can, right? If you're I'm kind of like a perfectionist in how I deliver. I love singing live. So, you know, yeah. Still get that you still get those nerves, of course.
So, how did your hit single that's out now, special one, how did that come
Oh
about?
yeah, so special again. It came from just like I, you know, like a lot of people, I just take notes down in my phone when I a lot of times I hear a melody and then I'll write it and then I'll record it like on my memo. And I came back to it. I actually had kind of not forgot about it, but I knew like that first like I see your hazel eyes, right? Like that song actually, I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm actually talking to myself in the mirror. And that came from me being really emotional and sad about my dad passing in February. We were really close. You know, he was still young. And, you know, anytime you go through something really difficult or emotional, you know, a lot of times, you know, you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, man, I may be just going out a little bit too much, but I know why. Like, I know it's because I'm trying to compensate. And I know this is not how I'm always going to be. But, like, where is that person that like the true me, right? So I was kind of like looking in the mirror and I'm talking to myself. Like I miss that old you. Like where'd you go? It's always just me and you, and only like you can make yourself feel special again. You know, once you're down low. So it's like you know that you're somebody, and you want to bring yourself back up to that standard of who you are as a person, and you know, kind of like before that incident happened, you know, you were happy, you weren't thinking about all the sad stuff, it wasn't flooding your mind, because a lot of times, you know, when you go through something very difficult, it doesn't matter, you know, a death, a loss, like, you know, losing a job, it doesn't matter, losing a friend, just stop, you know, breaking up with somebody, you know, you kind of like you're in your own little like weird world inside, but you're still functioning in regular life, and so you're compensating for those emotions, and that's kind of how I like wrote it. It's kind of therapeutic thing. But my one of my homies out here, his name's JL. He produced the track, and he had actually already had that track for me, and he said, you know, like I feel like you're kind of like a 90s singer, like those are the vibes I got. I did a gig with him with a kind of bigger artist out here. I just featured and did, you know, live show, and he made it like these selection of beats for me, and I was like, yo, that one's really catchy. And of course, like over time we added horns, we added all the, you know, different stuff to it. um, I had a dude in LA, his name's Alan Damian. He owns a studio out there. He did like the solo part in it, you know, that guitar part. So yeah, like that's what I wrote it about. And to be honest, I actually wrote about my dad because he made me feel the most special about my music. He would always be like, if you're gonna do it, do it. You can do it and you have a gift. But don't like one foot in, one foot out, you know? Because it takes a lot to like show people your music, even if you know you're talented. It's like, you know, it's especially if it's very emotional for you. Um, it's like showing someone your soul, right? And a lot of people, you know, being vulnerable is very difficult when you're, you know, kind of alpha like I am, or kind of, you know, like prideful, and like these are all things that when some you lose somebody important to you, all those things go away, because now you're dealing with like some real emotion, and you can't have pride in that emotion. You can't have, you know, you can't be as tough as you usually are, as independent, or hustle as hard as you did before that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if somebody would want to purchase that song, where could they find it?
Yeah, you can stream it on any of the streaming platforms. You can purchase it from iTunes. I know a lot of my friends have done that just to support. And Amazon Music, you know, any Apple, really anywhere. You can purchase it there, but you can stream it on any of the streaming services, you know, like we all do nowadays. But yeah, yeah, it's all over. I did it independently, like I distributed on my own, which was its own thing. And if anybody watches that's like a new artist, you know, you could submit your song to Spotify before you release a song, um, and they can see if they want to put it on one of their big playlists. You know, I'm talking about the curators that work for Spotify. So I meant to do that because I knew about it. I have a friend that used to be an executive in a label, and yeah, so she told me to do that, but I accidentally didn't hit the button to like release it a week later. So I just want to give that piece of advice to anybody, because you know, if it's a good song, they could feature it on a playlist, and then all of a sudden you know, you're really up there instead of trying to promote it from the ground up. You know.
Oh yeah. Special again, y'all. If y'all want to get it, it's on all platforms.
Yeah. Check it out. It's a catchy vibe, man. It's a little bit soul, a little blues, like it's upbeat, but it's still, you know, deep. I think it's a catchy song.
I was listening to one of your covers you did, and you know I had to bring it.
Yeah.
Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, that Jack Daniels though. Yeah, Tennessee Whiskey. Yep, yep. That's always the song. People love that in Vegas too, you know. Yeah, it's a good song. But you know what? I don't know if you know this, but that's if you listen to I'd Rather Go Blind, that's kind of how you know, Chris Stapleton came up with that it's so funny how music just transcends, you know. If it's a really good one, you can bring that into like current times. And I mean, I don't know of a more highly requested song than Tennessee Whiskey. I mean, everybody loves it. I'll do it at a jazz club and do it in a jazz feel, still hits exactly the same, you know. So yeah, that's a vibe. Tennessee
Yeah,
Whiskey,
yeah.
man.
When I went to Tennessee, I had to grab some.
Yeah,
I
for
was in
sure, Jack
Tennessee.
Daniels. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
was in earlier this year. Went to Tennessee with the fam, and yeah, I was out there in the mountains, just chilling and vibing.
Chilling and vibing. Yep, what you do
I s-
best.
oh yeah, I saw you you was at a festival recently, a reggae festival, I
Yeah,
think.
it's Reggae Rise Up. So there's a lot of great artists there. I think last year I went to. I mean, this year I had the VIP because you know, I know the sound guys for that that live out here in Vegas. They do it every year, and so yeah, it was cool. I mean, you know, I'm kind of like a lot of artists. I'm kind of a person that's like, I'm an extrovert, but I don't like being around a ton of people because I mean that's what I do. I'm usually on the stage singing to a bunch of people, right? But this was a really cool festival, and I think festivals are great. They bring people together, especially reggae. Like it's people are trying to get along. You know, people aren't trying to start problems. You know, because when you got a lot of different people are drinking, people are, you know, trying to have a good time. But everybody's super sweet. I've met so many like just great people, and then other people I know in Vegas there. But yeah, they had a good lineup last year. It was, you know, Sublime, like the Roman Sublime, and Action Bronson, who was really incredible. I was excited and surprised to see him there. Um, so yeah, they got some good stuff every year. Yeah, here in Vegas, they do it in downtown.
Did you perform, or you just went out there and
I didn't perform. But that's my next step, you know. I actually, you know, it's crazy, like I feel like when you put your work out there, if it's you don't anticipate the opportunity, but unless you do that, now all of a sudden I have like investors, and now all of a sudden I like don't want any credits, you know, just really believe in the project that I'm coming up with. But you got to have, you know, at least a set of songs. So that's like my next step. I got a lot of friends that put on big festivals. And so that's what we're doing next, once this EP is finished in the studio. So I have a good, like 6 songs to work with and open for somebody.
Do you got a name for the EP yet?
I do and I don't, so I don't want to say in case I change my mind. But the songs are already like in the works, and I have like a live band this time, like a full on live band coming in, so the vibe will be really cool. Very like all very like big band type of feel, and then hopefully when I book a festival, then I'll have a whole band with me and all that, because singing to tracks is a little daunting. I think a lot of artists do that where they have musicians, but they're playing over tracks. And if you have a live band, I feel like it just gives you like such a good, like live music experience, and that's kind of what I would like to give to my fans.
Yeah. So Katrina Bree, I got a question. What advice would you give to an artist, who want to be on the big stage and put their music out there? What would you tell them?
Well, I would definitely say, you you kind of have to have a team. I think that comes to you when you start showing people that you're doing the work. You know what I mean? People naturally just want to come to you, because I used to think, like, how do you get a team, right? Like someone who's going to take photos of you for social, like somebody who's going to help you upload like a video if you want to make it look a certain way and edit it for you. Just homies, like people that really believe in you. So I would say build a good team around you, people that you trust, people that you inspire you. Um, but I would also say, just put your something out there that you believe in. I wouldn't say hold it back. Like I have so many friends that I'm sitting over there showing me all their music, and I'm like, you haven't released anything, and they're like, well, I got a plan. I have this plan, and it's like, cool, but a plan could last for like 2 years, and you're just sitting on all that stuff, and that might hit right now. And so if you save that, it might not hit in a year or two, because you're making it right now. Maybe it's authentic to what your fans would want now, but maybe not later. I mean, or maybe somebody put something out that sounds like you a little bit too, and you're like, dang, that sounds like too much of the vibe I was going for. But I think if you're authentic, it should only be about you versus you, and always being better and always being authentic. But I would definitely say social media is a big thing, and that's something that I didn't really jump on as quickly. And so now, it's a lot of work, because putting videos out, it takes time, but I think it's important, and I think it lets you be seen. Um so I would say, the social stuff, doing videos, doing covers, just doing whatever like is authentic. But also, writing every day. If you're a lyricist, write every day. If you're a singer and someone else writes for you, sing every day. Do those warm ups, hone your craft so that when something great comes to you, you can seize that opportunity. And I think that's super important, because you never can just prepare the day before. You never know when something's going to come to you, but now you're not ready because you didn't prepare for that. And it might not happen for a year, so you always got to be on your hustle. And music is such a hustle, because you don't want to be a sellout, but you also, you might want to be signed, but you might also want to be independent, because then you get to keep a lot of your rights. So there's a lot to think about. But I think if you're talented enough and you work on your craft, like, that'll come through more than anything, and everything else kind of falls into place. And that's the beginning of what happened with me with this song. All of a sudden now I got all these people. I don't know how that came to be. I didn't expect it. I just thought, you know what, I've been sitting on this single for 6 months. It's not going to get any better. Let me deliver it, right? Like, because I know it's authentic to what I was going through. And I think if somebody understands what I'm saying in that song, like I have a friend, she goes, I was singing your song and it didn't even pop in my head. That's my friend's song, because it's so catchy. I've had so many people tell me that, and so that feels good. It feels you. It fuels you to like, okay, I got something, like before I was feeling a little insecure, maybe they don't like it. And nobody wants to be criticized, but it's part of it. It's part of, you're not going to be for everybody, but that's what makes you kind of special as an artist, right? Because you'll be for somebody in some group of people that really do vibe with you and what you're saying and how you're sounding and all that.
And that's why, I got my platform also, because I tell everybody got a story, and everybody's
Mm,
story is different. But somebody can relate to it or get inspired from that story. And I
right.
appreciate you for coming on, man, for telling your story. Now, somebody watching this, listening to this, they can get inspired and be like, oh man, Katrina Bree did it. I know I can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. We should all bring each other up. That's a very important part of it. And, just being a strong community, because the music industry can be, I mean, we all know how it can be, right? So we're seeing a lot of stuff right now, but um just being there for your artists and your friends that are musicians, like, really trying to work together and like make projects together and just being honest with each other, looking out for each other, that's important.
Oh yeah. So Katrina, how can people follow you on your socials? What are they?
Yeah, so I'm Katrina Bree. Katrina with a K, Bree with two E's, and it's Katrina Bree Music. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the platforms. Um, and yeah, it's all
Uh,
my
Kat-
socials, all the same. They're all the same name, so it's Katrina Bree Music, and you can find me there. Yeah.
Katrina, I appreciate you for coming through. But before we go,
Thank you so
let
much.
everybody know what we doing.
We chilling and vibing all day,
Oh
every
yeah.
day.
All right. Thank you, baby girl.
Thank you so much.